So as you've probably guessed if you've watched any of my videos before, I love watching movies, and I felt as though it was just right for me to make a video looking at some of my favourites of the year, as even though it strays away from the videos that I usually make, I just really wanted to talk about my favourites of the year. I'm also going to link my letterbox below, so if you wanted to read deeper into my thoughts of any of the films mentioned, then you'll be able to find them there. Moving on to why you're actually here, it's been an incredible year for film, and it's also been the best year for me when it comes to watching new releases, as I saw around 50 this year, and there are tons that I just didn't get a chance to see. A few of them being The Worst Person in the World, Drive My Car, Memoria, Pig, Coda, The Tragedy of Macbeth and The Lost Daughter, but I either couldn't find the time or they weren't showing in local cinemas. Also remember that I am in the UK, so these are films released in the UK in 2021. Enough wasting time though. At 25 we have Lamb, 24 is House of Gucci, Spider-Man No Way Home at 23, Petite Maman at 22 and The Nest at 21. Getting into the top 20 we have Tick Tick Boom, directed by Lin-Manuel Miranda. At 19 is French Exit, directed by Azael Jacobs. Our Friend at 18, directed by Gabriella Cowperthwaite. At 17 we have Minari, directed by Lee Isaac Chung. And at 16, No Time to Die, directed by Cary Fukunaga. 15 is King Richard, directed by Renato Marcus Green, and to no surprise, it's one of the most captivating films of the year. I mean, biopics are one of my favourite genres anyway, but my favourites have always been those that look at people somewhat in the shadows. At 14 is The Green Knight, directed by David Lowery, and it's one of the most mystical and jaw-dropping experiences of the year. Not only is the story engrossing, but the cinematography brings you into the world of Gawain. At 13 is Supernova, directed by Harry McQueen, and it shows the story of a couple who are taking their last trip together, and it's truly one of the most heartbreaking films of the year. Colin Firth and Stanley Tucci give incredible performances, and paired with a beautiful score and stunning cinematography, we have a 90-minute treasure. At 12 is Annette, directed by Leos Carax, and it's definitely one of the more interesting films of the year, but it's also one that stole my eyes from the first scene. Adam Driver and Marion Cotillard give some great performances, and the Sparks score is a joy to listen to. And at 11 is The Beta Test, directed by one of my favourite newish directors, Jim Cummings. It has one of the most unique stories I've seen this year, and was in the top 10 until number 1 came along. So if you're looking for a good modern horror/thriller, then check this out.
I maybe spent too much of my life just remembering.
With Nomadland, Chloe Zhao has yet again created a masterpiece from a simple idea, and with an incredible Academy Award-winning performance from Frances McDormand, we have one of the most unique and engrossing films of the year. I also can't go without mentioning Joshua James Richards' stunning cinematography, truly one of the most exciting new DPs working today.
We're looking for a solution to this. Not this.
Sound of Metal is a film I knew I was going to love from the first minute. I mean, as a so-called drummer myself, I was interested from the announcement, but after just watching for 5 minutes, you know you're in for one of the best films of the year. Riz Ahmed's performance is simply legendary, and the sound design is undoubtedly the best I have ever heard.
Maybe we can just take this process slowly and see how it feels.
You are just terrible at this.
Oh man, I'm trying.
Joaquin Phoenix's performance in Come On Come On alone would have made this one of my favourite films of the year, but to then add Mike Mills' writing and directing and cinematography by Robbie Ryan, you're just putting so much talent into one film, and I couldn't ask for anything more. The story alone was extraordinary and was something that it feels as though we don't usually see, and that's something that Mike Mills does extremely well. And if you haven't already seen 20th Century Woman or Come On Come On, you're definitely missing out. I also just wanted to add that parts of this, mostly the New York scenes, felt a lot like Noah Baumbach's work in ways that they were photographed, but of course they would be, so thank you Robbie Ryan.
Simone Naked Cell Block J Hobby Room. I want to buy it.
It's not for sale.
Yes, it is. No, it isn't.
Yes, it is.
No, it isn't.
Yes, it is.
No, it isn't.
Yes.
How could I not have a Wes Anderson film in my top 10, especially one as good as The French Dispatch? I mean, he's directed some of my favourite films of all time, and this film seems to be everything that we love about him in 110 minutes. The unique use of 3 distinctly different stories adds something that I didn't know I needed from his films, and the even more perfect cinematography only leaves me guessing what he's going to do next. I will also just add that the first story was my favourite of the 3.
Ooh. Exactly am I.
You're Anthony.
The Father was the most heartbreaking film of the year, but it's one that once you finish it, you almost feel as though you never want to watch it again, as you simply don't want to put yourself through it. The performances feel so unbelievably real, the set design makes you question yourself, and the cinematography perfectly captures everything. I don't really know what else to say about this, so if you haven't already seen it, go and watch it after this video.
Look, I'm gonna be straight with you. I'm an adult film actor. Excuse me?
Sean Baker has made some of my favourite films of the past few years, from Starlet to the Florida Project, but Red Rocket is the first one that I saw from him in cinemas, and it was also the only film that I saw at the BFI London Film Festival. Like most films in this top 10, it has an incredibly unique story, but when has Baker done anything else? The cast is again amazing, and whilst they are lesser known actors, I can't name anyone who would have done a better job than Dirt Nasty. Love Drew Daniel's cinematography as well. The 16mm in 2.39:1 looked incredible.
Hey you, put on some muscle?
I did?
No.
Now, I'm not usually one for sci-fi, but Dune had everything I could ever want in a movie. Denis Villeneuve's directing, Rick Fraser's cinematography, Timothée Chalamet's acting, but what about the story? I mean, I went into this completely blind, and 2.5 hours later, I felt as though I didn't even need to read the book. But in all seriousness, it's genuinely my favourite sci-fi films of the year. Everything from the directing to the VFX to the acting to the cinematography was just superb and brings you into the world of Dune in words I can't describe, and it somehow only feels like 90 minutes. Another Round had topped the list for around 8 months. There was simply nothing that I felt could top it, and for obvious reasons, Mads Mikkelsen to start. But also, what a great story. I mean, I can in no way relate to any of the 4 middle-aged Danish teachers having a bit of a midlife crisis, but I felt as though I was in the film when watching. And that's all thanks to the stunning cinematography and storytelling. But the cinematography does exactly what cinematography is supposed to do, and that's tell the story through images. I really hope that they don't follow through with the rumoured American remake of this film, as not only would it be disrespectful for obvious reasons, but you just wouldn't be able to make anything better.
Will they kill me, do you think?
Where do you even begin with Spencer? I think it's a given that Kristen Stewart is going to win Best Actress next year, because what a performance that was. But also Timothy Spall just stole every scene that he was in. The story is one that is just so unbelievably powerful, yet not overwhelming whatsoever. There is also never a moment where you want to take your eyes off the screen, but that may also be because of Claire Mathone's beautiful cinematography. You see, I don't know if this is just my soft spot for period dramas talking, as I've seen quite a bit of negative feedback surrounding this film, but I think it's simply one of the best films of the past few years.
Do you really want to see my boobs?
Can I touch them?
I'll see you tomorrow.
I'm sure you saw this coming, and whilst it's possible that this is a bit of recency bias, I adored every second of Licorice Pizza. I mean, Paul Thomas Anderson has never released a bad film, and he's one of my favourite directors of all time, so it's no surprise that this is at the top of the list. It's classic Paul Thomas Anderson. I mean, when we look back at Boogie Nights, Punch Drunk Love, Magnolia, even Hard 8, we see aspects of this film, and it's something that I cannot get enough of. I don't know if it's just me, but these past couple of films from PTA have felt the most true to him, and that's all down to him being one of the cinematographers. So if you are lucky enough to see this projected on 70mm or 35mm as I did, please do, as it's some of the best cinematography of the year. Cooper Hoffman's acting was outstanding for a first time actor, and the exact same goes for Elena Haim. What incredible performances, and I can't wait to see more from both of them. But the story is just so 70s and so much fun to watch. It doesn't have the intensity of something like Phantom Thread or There Will Be Blood, but after all those serious films from Anderson, this is exactly what we needed. So TV goes hand in hand with film, and these are just a few of my favourite shows with at least one season released this year. Don't worry though, this will be really quick. Starting off, we have Sex Education, It's a Sin, and if you count it, Euphoria's special episodes. Really excited for season 2 by the way. These were all just such fun at times and unique shows to watch. Great storytelling, acting and cinematography across the board. However, one show topped the list this year: Succession. I can't remember ever being so engrossed in a show. The story, acting, cinematography was simply breathtaking, and I haven't been able to get it out of my head since watching the last episode, or even the first episode for that matter. I'm also going to be making a video looking at the cinematography in the next couple of weeks, so keep an eye out for that. I also watched WandaVision, The Now and Rick and Morty Season 5 this year, which were all fun to watch, but they haven't really stayed in my mind. WandaVision especially, which is a shame since I loved the first 4 or so episodes, but after that it became a bit too Marvel-y for me. I also watched The Crown and Seinfeld for the first time this year, both of which were absolutely incredible for very different reasons. I wish I could have caught Scenes from a Marriage and Ted Lasso as well, but I just couldn't find the time. Anyway, that's it for me this year. Thanks for making it to the end of this unusually long video, and thanks for being here in the first year of my channel. I hope next year I can really nail down what content I want to make surrounding cinematography. As I said in the beginning, I'll link my letterbox down below as well as all of my other socials. If you have any ideas for films or TV shows that you would like to see me do a video on, then leave a comment down below. If you found this video enjoyable, a like is appreciated, and if you would like to see more videos like this, or maybe not like this, then hit the subscribe button. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.